Today we've just finished an article about some rocks, marked rocks. And of course anyone watching this probably knows at some stage or other we have quite a few of them. And what we've noticed is that to an extent, once we start championing this rock and it's part of the collection, then it gets tainted by us. Because so many people think we're such disgusting archaeologists and pseudo everything else along the track, it sort of goes by one degree of separation in anything we touch. And once it stays with us, because of that, that must mean that it's fake, that we fiddle with it, or that it's been badly misunderstood, or whatever the reason, or whatever the failings we have become the rock's failings too, and therefore no one needs to look at it in official channels because it's just not it. Well, it's just part of us. It's what we do, and everyone knows we're fake. Therefore, by association, everything else is. So what we decided to do for a change, and a bit of a change from the skulls we've been working on, there's more on that coming soon enough, but what we decided to do was to do an article about 3 sets of rocks, or 3 different people when it comes to that. You'll have rocks that we don't have. They're not in the collection. They don't belong to us. And I put no pressure on these people. They know that one day soon all these rocks will be stored on sacred ground, but it's entirely up to them what they do with that. And we're not pressuring them because the rocks are with them. And each of them have told their story in different ways. In one case, it's been personal. In one of these people, they actually give a personal account of their relationship with the rocks, and I do mean relationship, and that's part of what this is about. It's about how the rocks form a relationship with the people they're with. But the reason we've done this is because in this case, you can't dismiss the rocks because they're with us, because they're not with us. They're with someone else. We're just sitting in the grandstand watching. And someone's passed the ball to us for a second. In one case, I've got a rock here. This one I've got at the moment with the markings on both sides. Well, this particular rock was sent to me from West Australia by this lady, but when we finish, she wants it back, and that's no drama. I'll be sending this back in a couple of days because that's the deal. But it's not ours. So the point is, this time around, if people want to dismiss this and say, I'm not reading that article because it's more of the stuff they write, it's about their rocks, it's not about our rocks. It's about someone else's. It's a custodian for the rocks right now. It's their story. And we've asked them, and in one case it is their story. It's got personal commas around it. It's actually written with personal pronouns by the person who actually had a relationship with the rock and still does. The point I'm making is in every one of these rocks cases, and particularly the first one, which is an amazing rock, it really is. The masonry, the skills and the technology on display just don't fit. It is that simple. And really, that's one of the 2 parts of the story about the rocks we're writing about that belong to other people. The first one is the technology doesn't fit. And then the end of the story, then we get into the mystical part of the relationship, and one person shares a relationship they have with a rock. And if you were to go up and tell that person they're deluded, psychotic, or just dreaming about a relationship with a rock, because a rock is just a rock, and you told him that, he'd walk away because he knows it isn't true, and it isn't. He has a relationship with the rocks, as we do, and as I do particularly, and he wanted to share with that relationship. Now, if you don't want to believe him, that's your problem, and that's your truth, and that's okay. There's no drama. But what I can tell you is the story that this person writes about, that is his truth. Make no bones about it. That is his truth, and you just got to take that or leave it as you wish. But it's a story about rocks that we don't have, and it's a view from the grandstand, and it's a different way of approaching the same story from a different angle, different perspective, and different custodianship. Okay.